What's going on, everybody? What's up? It's your boy Mike, the Naughty Cruiser, and it's Thirsty Thursday, Throw It Back Thursday, Throat Punch Thursday, and 2 weeks before I fly out Thursday. What's going on, everyone? I hope we're all having a fantastic night. It is that time of the week, Naughty Hour. Let's talk ship. I kind of like that title of the late show. You know, I'm kind of like Jay Leno. I write my own jokes here, people. I write my own jokes. I hope we're all having a fantastic night. It is pre-Friday for us here in the States, and it's Friday for y'all in Australia. I see it in the chat, gay. So I hope we're all having a fantastic night. I hope we're all getting ready for the weekend. Anybody getting ready to go out on a cruise this weekend? If so, I'm jealous. Don't tell me. I don't leave for one until the 30th. That is a whole 2 weeks away. A whole 2 weeks away before I board a big old jet plane, fly to the sky, all the way to Houston, Texas, to board the Carnival Jubilee. So that's what I got going on next. I did some spring cleaning, I guess you can say. I came up with a new logo, so if you haven't seen it yet, you'll see it right there in that top little screen. That's the new logo, and I have been working on some things for the Alaska group cruise, which have been fun. I really enjoyed working on a few things for that group cruise that's coming up next year. And I'm still working on a few more things. I'm still working some kinks out. But it's been fun to get those things done and get those things going. So it's been a pretty busy week with getting things taken care of and figured out. I put a couple shorts out this week. No long-form content. That is coming. I promise you I am working on that as well. That is coming. And that'll be over the next few days. And then next week, there's going to be like a local video that's going to drop because I'm missing Greece a little bit right now. So I have an idea for a local video for the area that'll drop next week. And then this weekend, there will be another video that's going to drop with the upcoming cruise. I'm pretty much already packed. So I had a cruise tip video idea that is currently in the works. So that is coming very, very soon as well. So let's get to the chat. Let's say what's going on, everybody. We don't have that many in here yet, but you know how it goes. They all straggle in over the next 5-10 minutes, and then we start the party. Scott McNeil is the first one in the chat this week. He did not want to lose for, I think, the third consecutive week. I think this is the first time in 3 live shows that Scott is back on the #1 spot. Followed by Gay, Robin in the house. Sharon is here, but getting ready to get some sleep because she is tired. I know that feeling. Even though I'm still on strike, I do know that feeling very well. Standing out in that Florida sun for 4 hours a day, it kind of takes its toll. So by the time I get home, I'm ready to nap. I don't nap. I get sucked into the computer, and I do a bunch of stuff. And then next thing you know, I'm like, oh, I'm ready for bed, and it's only 7 o'clock. Databetic in the house. Short from YouTube Shorts. I don't have an Instagram. Yes, so it is on YouTube Shorts. It is a casino win video that I put out. I actually put it out on YouTube and I believe TikTok as well. I didn't put anything on Instagram. I really need to start posting more on Instagram. I don't post on Instagram as much, but there is a new short that was put out on YouTube. It was a casino win from the $25 spin challenge. And it was a pretty good casino win, I must say. I was happy. I was good. I walked away up. It was a great day. It was a great embarkation day. Now, it didn't go that way the whole day. Like, embarkation day wasn't the greatest day on board that ship because that ship should be now currently repositioned to New York. So every year, the cruise lines are required to do a mandatory old school muster drill, and I just happened to be the lucky one who had to do it on that trip. So we had to go back to the old school. Everyone gathers together, whether it's inside or outside on the Lido. They do the whole life jacket demonstration and all of that fun stuff. And that was a little bit of a cluster. So cluster muster, 100%. Bone Tire Travelers in the house. What's going on, Denise? I hope you're having a fantastic night. So yeah, that's how that started, but it definitely ended well. It ended on a good note. Casino was very good the first night of the trip. The casino was good the whole trip. It wasn't the worst casino experience ever, and it wasn't the best casino experience ever. I definitely had some good casino experiences, and that is definitely one for the books as a great casino experience. Now, in 2 weeks, I'll be flying out to meet the Jubilee in Galveston. I'll be getting on board the Jubilee in Galveston, Texas, and that ship was one of my greatest casino experiences. So I'm hoping for a repeat on the Jubilee, but I have also told myself that I'm not going to spend as much time in the casino on board the Jubilee as much as I am going to film other things around the ship, right? So I kind of want to do a lot of video ideas that I have in my head that I've put into this video book that I picked up off of Amazon. And there's a lot of things that I want to try and incorporate on this 7-day voyage on board the Jubilee. I want to do like a mini bar crawl where I go around and show you all the different bars on board the Jubilee. Not necessarily get an alcoholic beverage at every bar, because by the time we hit the third or fourth bar, I think I'd be a little tipsy. But I definitely want to do a few different things, short form and long form, on board this ship. Now, I've already filmed a ship tour of the Carnival Jubilee, but I think I'm going to go back and film another walk and talk ship tour on board the Jubilee. Try and get a little bit more of what I missed the last time, or just some little added details to add into that ship tour. Controversial Cruising in the house. What's going on, Scott? So that is what's going to happen over the next few weeks. We'll get a video this weekend, another video next week, and then I fly out to get on board the Jubilee. Now, I have made some changes to that itinerary, slight adjustments to that itinerary. I'm flying out the evening of the 30th, so I don't leave Tampa until, I think wheels up is 6:10 or 6:40 in the evening. And then I land in Houston that night around 8 or 9 o'clock, whatever it is. I'm then going to get an Uber over to the hotel, drop bags, and then from there I'm going to head down to Buc-ee's and do my Buc-ee's trip the night before, because we opted to use a service called Galveston Saltwater Moms, and they take you in and out of the port of Galveston. Relatively convenient, relatively inexpensive, but they only give you about 10-15 minutes at Buc-ee's. And for those of you who have been to a Buc-ee's and know what a Buc-ee's is, you know you need more than 10-15 minutes at a Buc-ee's. So I am going to go in the night before, drop bags, and then literally hop a cab and head on down to the Beaver House and spend as much time as I want at the Beaver House, because I'm not on a time limit the night before I get there. That's my plan. That's what I'm going to do. I need brisket. I need jerky. I need beaver nuggets. It's just becoming a ritual now with living in Florida and cruising a lot more out of Port Canaveral. Buc-ee's is becoming that one-stop ritual that I have to do every trip now. So I'll definitely be hitting that Buc-ee's in Galveston. There is one that's right around the corner from the hotel, but it's a smaller one, like a shrinky-dink version of a Buc-ee's. Like super, super shrinky-dink version. It's kind of like the Walmart before the Walmart super centers were built. Or if you know what a Wawa is, it was like a Wawa before those super Wawas. So I don't want no shrinky-dinked version of Buc-ee's. I want to walk in and hear people yell fresh brisket on the block. And I want to contemplate my life's choices as I look at the jerky case or the jerky wall to try and figure out what bag of beef jerky I want. There's 80 different bags. It's going to take me more than 10 minutes to figure out what bag of those 80 bags of beef jerky I actually want. And like Scott said, 45 minute minimum in Buc-ee's. It's definitely a longer visit. 10-15 minutes is not enough time. Nauti's Hottie Crawl. Find the hottest and spiciest food on board the ship. Now, that is definitely something I would 100% absolutely do, because spicy food and hot food are one of my absolute favorites. And I'll give you a quick little story. So the other day, a few months ago, KFC came out with these chicken nuggets, and they would sauce them. They would call them saucy nuggets. And they had this mango habanero flavor. And they don't do them anymore. And my dad really liked the mango habanero. So we were heading into work, and he was like, man, I wish I could find a mango habanero sauce. I can't find a mango habanero. I can find mango jalapeno, but not mango habanero. Well, I was at Wally World the other day, and that's Walmart. For those of you who don't know, I think everyone should know what Wally World is, right? So I was at Wally World the other day, and they had a Buffalo Wild Wings mango habanero sauce. I got it. He tried it, and he told me it was the hottest sauce he has ever had. Definitely wasn't expecting the heat level on it, so I tried it. And I will be honest, if you're not waiting for that little punch, it's definitely a throat punch sauce. So I enjoyed it. It's one of my now favorite sauces to dip chicken nuggets in or chicken wings, whatever it may be. Will G is in the house. What's going on, Will G? We call those small mart. Yeah, like I can't go to a small mart. I really need that super Walmart. And I want to feel like I get lost in those stores. Have you tried the fresh jerky? So the fresh jerky is my kryptonite. That is the biggest thing that I absolutely love the most, is getting the fresh jerky out of the case. The last time I was there, I watched the lady open the bag and I said to her, can I just buy that whole bag? It's vacuum sealed. I can take it home. I can break it down, vacuum seal it myself, and it would last a lot longer. She said no, they would make me pound it out and give it to you individually wrapped per package. And I'm like, yeah, no, I want it fully vacuum packed and sealed. Nope, they wouldn't sell it to me that way. And that's 45 minutes non-negotiable. Yeah, and that's what I was telling my buddy, right? Like, I was like, look, dude, if you want to go in the morning, we can go in the morning and grab a quick breakfast sandwich or whatever. That's fine. But I need more time at Buc-ee's. Like, they come out with such great shirts, such great cups. If I go and get all the Buc-ee's cups I have out of the cupboard, you'd be like, well, man, you have a cup problem. Most of the time you see me with this one. A lot of times I'll use the Buc-ee ones. I just like the Buc-ee's cups. I like the beaver. And there's just something about that hairy beaver. The smile on his face is just so welcoming. And they got some of the cleanest bathrooms, man, I'll be honest. If you need a good bathroom break on the road and you're near a Buc-ee's, I highly suggest you pull in, get some pop, and use a bathroom. I need my brisket. There's a hot sauce you can buy here called the Bed. I'm serious, and no, they don't use asterisks. So when I was a kid, I tried this stuff called Ground Zero the Bomb, and it was super hot. Like, so hot you can only take a little bit on the tip of a toothpick, and your mouth will be on fire forever. I don't like stuff that overpowers the flavor of the food. I want to be able to still taste the food. And that's a big thing with me, right? Like, I'm a big foodie. I'll tell people all the time, like, oh, try this or try that. And people say to me, like, the most dumbest thing people can say to me, and I hear it more often than not, is, oh, well, why should we take your opinion? You're a big dude. You eat anything. In all reality, no, I don't. I am a very particular and very picky eater when it comes to certain things. Now, don't get me wrong. If you send me to Japan, I'm willing to try anything. If you send me to Australia, I'm willing to try anything. If you send me somewhere I've never been, I am willing to try anything once. Doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to like it, and it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm going to sit here and tell you on camera it was good when in all reality it was hot trash. I am the first one to tell you, and Chuck and Scott and Cameron, they can all contest to this. If I don't like it, I will spit it out, and I will tell you it is disgusting. Do not eat it. Do not get it. Do not nothing. The last cruise we were on, me and Chuck were sitting at the dinner table looking at across from each other, and I was like, man, the duck rolls, are they good? And Chuck's like, you've had them before. They're the ones that are cold. I was like, oh, yeah, they're nasty. Not getting those. And I'm not going to tell you they're good. I think they're hot trash. I think Carnival should take them off the menu if you want my honest opinion. But I don't just tell you it's good because I'm a bigger guy. I'm a bigger guy because I like food. I like good food. I don't just like regular basic food. I want good food. Cameron in the house. The brisket breakfast burrito is so good. It's something I've never had, right? Like, I've never had the time to get to a Buc-ee's to have breakfast. So getting breakfast say that 10 times fast. Getting breakfast from Buc-ee's wouldn't be a bad idea. I just definitely need more than 15 minutes. Been exhausted, so ready to get on the Jubilee in a couple weeks. Yeah, it'll be nice to get on board that ship. Mike, I've seen you try salmon on camera. Robin, yes, you are absolutely right. You have 100% seen me try salmon on film. And I even said the salmon was not bad. But you've also seen me try it as a fish dip. You haven't seen me try smoked salmon or regular salmon. Now, if you scroll back in the shorts that I've posted over the last probably year and a half, you'll see me try a salmon cone roll. I was on board MSC. I went to the sushi restaurant. I had the sushi like platter because the way MSC does their specialty dining, they give you a like, it's kind of like a gift card, right? So if you do the specialty dining with MSC and you go to the restaurant, you're allocated a certain menu depending on the price that you paid for that restaurant, right? So with the sushi restaurant, you get a select menu that you can only choose certain things from. You can't just add whatever you want. If you do, it's a la carte. But if you got the specialty dining package, it's already picked out for you on what you can get. So I just went with their options, and I've tried multiple different options that they've had. Well, that salmon cone roll, I literally held it up. I was like, all right, salmon cone roll. Dunked it in a little soy sauce. Went to take a bite. As soon as it hit my mouth said, nope, not going in, and it came right out. It just, I can't do it. I can't do salmon unless it's in that fish dip that I had in Alaska that one time. That was good. That was tolerable. I'll absolutely eat that again. I don't like trout. For some reason, freshwater fish, I really don't enjoy freshwater fish as much. Now you give me some Cajun catfish nuggets or, some bass fried up real good, I'd be all right with that. But trout, salmon, that's a no-go for me. That's a no-go for me. Getting breakfast from Buc-ee's, getting breakfast from Buc-ee's. That was 3. You got jokes, man. It's hard when you, like, your brain runs a little faster than your mouth, right? So sometimes I got to remind myself to slow down, because if not, it's just going to come out all jumbled. Warm Strong Adventures in the house. What's going on, Bill? The man, the myth, the legend, the man that made me jealous for 29 days as he crossed the Trans-Pacific. Man, we got to have a conversation, bro. And I know you're getting on board with me in October on board the Mardi Gras coming over from Barcelona. So don't change plans with that. That'll be the next time we cruise together since the booze cruise. So I definitely want to see you on board that ship. But it's definitely a little jealous that, man, it's just, I wish I didn't cancel that cruise. I kicked myself so hard in the rear end that I pulled the plug on that trip, man. That would have been an epic vacation for sure. Epic for sure. I was about to say you need to try some fried crappie. I've tried fried crappie. Fried crappie's good. I could do white fish, not a problem. But sometimes, man, it just depends, right? Like, when I lived up north, I used to work for a seafood company, and that's where I fell in love with like Cajun catfish nuggets, because that was one of the menu items that we had. And when I mean worked, I drove a truck for the guy, right? Like I went around and I picked up crabs from the local suppliers. I made deliveries to the local restaurants, things like that. So I have had my fair share of great seafood, and I've had my fair share of not so great seafood. And when I was a kid, I didn't like clams. I didn't like mussels. Now that I'm older, I like clams. I like mussels. I didn't like mushrooms. I like mushrooms. So there's a lot of things that I like now and enjoy them now than when I was a child. I never once would you see me eating that stuff. I still won't do oysters. Still won't do oysters. Never had them. Don't plan on having them. People tell me to try them fried. People tell me to try them in shooters, Rockefeller. I'm a no oyster feller. I want no parts of oysters. And when we were on the cruise on the Venezia, at the Italian restaurant, they have this seafood upcharge item that you can get. It comes with lobster tails, mussels, clams, and it had oysters. And I didn't buy it because it had oysters in it, and they couldn't substitute the oysters. And I was like, I don't want it. I'm good. I want no parts of that. It was a great trip. I'm sure it was, man. I was living vicariously through you, man. Every time I seen those pictures, I was just like, man, that's just got to be an epic vacation. Martin in the house. What's up, y'all? Wanting to show waiting for the show, was just hopping in to say what's up. Back to this Beyond ABBA sing-along time. Enjoy. Martin, for those of you who don't know, Martin is on his honeymoon. Him and Haley are having a great time on board the Celebrity Beyond. I have been getting a ton of pictures, and it's actually been quiet the last couple days. The last time Martin texted me was yesterday, and I responded to him, and he never responded to me. But check out this. I'll show you this one picture here. This lobster dish that he had. Look at that. Bam. Now that is a fancy lobster dish. They've been having a great time. Here's his crab cake. And I told him, I'm like, bro, you're going to have to take me out to dinner with all these pictures you're sending me because you're making me hungry with that food. But they're having a fantastic time on the Beyond. I think Martin is officially hooked. I tried explaining to him before he went on the Beyond that Celebrity is that upgraded version of Royal Caribbean, right? Like we talk about Carnival and we talk about Princess. Princess, when I was a kid, was all I sailed on. So Princess is that upscale line of Carnival. Celebrity is that upscale line of Royal Caribbean. And then you just continue to move on up. You go to Silver Seas. You go all the way up to Cunard. Each branch of the cruise line has that more premium elevated line. And Celebrity is that for Royal. And I've only been on the Reflection. So that's an older ship. And I had a fantastic time. The food was incredible. The staff was incredible. It's definitely one of those things where I'm like, all right, I can definitely see why people choose Celebrity, right? The same reason people choose Royal. When I went on Utopia, that was the very first Royal cruise I've ever been on. And Tony asked me, he's like, do you get it? And I was like, I completely understand why people are loyal to the brand. I get why people are loyal to Royal, that whole thing. I get it. I understand it. Does it mean I'll be loyal to Royal? No. Mm-mm. I'm no longer loyal. I can't say I'm not loyal. I'm loyal to the ones that are giving me offers. And Carnival, Margaritaville, Royal Caribbean, Celebrity, they all send me out offers. The one that sends me out offers the most that I want to get on is Norwegian. But Norwegian just now started sending me offers where I can pick what cruise I want to book. Before, they were only sending me offers on certain cruises that I could book. And every time they sent me a mailer or an email, I already had I already had cruises booked that, you know, they collided with each other and didn't want to cancel or anything like that. Celebrity is my new number one in my book. The Beyond is beyond expectations. And that's the great thing, right? And that's why I tell people all the time, if you have a bad experience cruising, sit down and look deep within yourself and figure out what the problem was, right? Was it a problem that you had? Was it a problem with the cruise line? What was the issue? Because there's a cruise line for everybody. I was talking to Scott and Chuck, and we'll use this conversation as a segue into the next topic for the night. I was talking to Scott and Chuck yesterday because Margaritaville officially announced that they have acquired their third ship. It'll be the third Costa ship coming over to the Margaritaville at Sea brand. Now, for those of you who don't know how Margaritaville at Sea started, Margaritaville at Sea started during the pandemic, right? This line was built and established fresh out of the pandemic. They bought Bahamas Paradise. Bahamas Paradise at the time had two ships. They were both sailing out of Florida, out of West Palm, and they sold off one ship during the pandemic to be able to pay employees or bills or whatever the case was, and they kept one, which was the Bahamas Paradise. An old Costa ship, refitted for Bahamas Paradise, was acquired by Margaritaville at Sea. Margaritaville at Sea refitted it to the Margaritaville at Sea Paradise, and they continued to run it on 2-day itineraries over to Freeport, Bahamas, and back to Port of West Palm. Now, Port of West Palm is relatively small. It's on the East Coast, and it's literally a 2-hour float to Freeport, Bahamas. That cruise is literally a booze cruise, essentially, right? It's a shuttle, it's a ferry, it just gets you over to the Bahamas. They did this cruise and stay package with the resorts over there. You could stay for a long period of time. You get on the cruise one day, You get off when you're in the Bahamas, you stay there for a few days, you get back on board the ship and you cruise back. Well, then they acquired the Islander, which now sails out of Tampa, and now they already announced they have acquired their third ship, another Costa branded ship, which is great for all of you Carnival lovers, including myself, because for everyone who loves Carnival and loves the way that Carnival ships are designed or built, it reflects within Costa, right? They're built by the same shipbuilders. The layouts are relatively the same, whether it's a Vista class, Horizon class. I believe from looking at the deck plans over the last 24 hours and a few videos on YouTube here, that this new ship they acquired is a Spirit class ship. It has the retractable roof on the aft. It has the glass dome like the Pride does on the Carnival Pride over the Steakhouse. So there are things that you pick up on and you see on different branded ships within the same corporation, right? Under the same umbrella. So obviously it's Carnival. The ships are relatively the same. Now, the downfall here is they're not acquiring the ship until late of 2026, I believe it is. So towards the end of 2026. So that ship still got a little bit of time under the Costa umbrella. And on top of that, they got to refit it. So I don't think, if they do acquire it sometime in 2026, prior towards the middle of the year, I think it'll start sailing in 2026. It's possible, but they got to refit the whole ship, right? They got to make it Margaritaville. They got to add the flip-flop. The atrium is a relatively giant atrium, so it'll be a relatively large flip-flop. So it's laid out the way they want it. They like it. It works for them. And they just celebrated 3 years in business. So this is the third year. They acquired their third ship. They're making some strides. They're making some big head waves. And y'all know I love Margaritaville. I've been on multiple Margaritaville at sea cruises, especially since it's 45 minutes right out my back door. Well, now they're adding new itineraries to the schedule and things like that. So we were talking about the different cruise lines, and Chuck and Scott got on the topic of Disney, and Chuck was like, I will never cruise a Disney cruise. It's just not for me. You go to Disneyland, you go to Disney World, you can't get away from the rat. You go on the ship, you can't get away from the rat. It's just not for me. It's not my thing. We got on the topic because the Margaritaville at Sea cruise line, as of right now, is the only cruise line that 100% has no smoking in the casino. So there's no smoking casino. There's no smoking casino box. There is nothing. They are the only cruise line that does a no smoking casino. Now, Disney has no casino. But we were talking about it because we were wondering if the not having smoking in the casino actually hurts the revenue for the ship. On the Paradise and the Islander, those casinos are relatively small. On the new ship they acquired, it is a relatively large casino. So I'm waiting to see if they make some adjustments or some changes, if they add a smoker's box, because MSC did away with the smoking in the casino, and they turned what Carnival uses as a non-smoking casino, those relatively smaller rooms, into a smoker's room. It's literally a box, and that's where you smoke. So cruise lines are starting to go more towards the smaller smoking sections and then the larger non-smoking sections. And some of them are going to the larger smoking sections and smaller non-smoking sections. So it'll be interesting to see what Margaritaville does now that they acquired this third ship. Disney has bingo. And it is a Sunshine class, I believe. I'm not 100% sure. Name guesses for the new ship. MAS Slipper, Salt Shaker. I think it's going to be New Horizons because that is kind of like the marketing stuff that they put out. So I don't know if it's going to be that. I would think they would try and keep it somewhat more into the realm of like a Jimmy Buffett theme song. So like New Horizons or Changes in Latitude. Something that's going to, tie back to that Jimmy Buffett brand of what Margaritaville actually is and why people actually love Margaritaville so much. And it's a good thing for people in Florida, right? Like me, I'm a big parrot head. I love listening to Jimmy Buffett music, whether I'm on vacation or just driving in the car. And Florida has now partnered with the Jimmy Buffett Foundation to where they are coming out with a vanity plate for the state of Florida. So I think we've already reached our 3,000 pre-orders. So now that'll be a license plate that we can actually order. And with me getting my car last year, I never got a vanity plate. So now I might be acquiring me a Margaritaville vanity plate. Utopia's non-smoking casino was awkward, size and location. It was definitely a weird spot, right? Like the location for that non-smoking casino was kind of by the studio, but way away from the casino. It was just a weird location. Disney is so expensive. I get it. It would be good for kids and families, but hard to get around the cost. Now, here's the thing, right? Everything in life comes with a price. Everything in life has a cost. And we associate the cost with things so many times to where we allow that number to make our decisions for us. So me and Chuck were talking about this on the last cruise, and it kind of made me think for a second, because Disney is expensive, but what are you getting for that cost, right? You're getting a lot more for that cost. It's just like Virgin. Virgin's a little bit more expensive, but you're getting a lot more for the cost when you're sailing on Virgin Voyages versus a Carnival cruise or a Royal Caribbean cruise. Now, Chuck and me were talking about specialty dining, and the topic of Chef's Table got brought up, and the cost of Chef's Table being $150 a person. But the cost for that dinner it's an elevated experience that you can only get in a small group setting. There's only, let's say, there's 7 nights on the voyage. There's 2 servings for specialty dining per night, which it's not. I think it's less than that. But there's only 14 of those dinners that are available to purchase. And I believe it's only like 15 or 16 people that can purchase those dinner reservations. So you're in a small group setting with an elevated menu, elevated cuisine, food that's going to blow your mind. We have a problem spending that $150 for that. But yet, if me and Chuck go to the casino, we have no problem blowing through $300-400 in less than an hour. So it's really what you're wanting to spend the money on and experience versus the actual cost. Now, if you want to have an experience, then that money really I'm not saying money's not a factor, right? Like, money is a big factor when it comes to a lot of things. But what you're getting for that money makes that experience more worth it in the long run than just going to the casino and blowing $300-500. That's my whole thing. Take care. Just wanted to say hi to people. Haley finna beat me up if I don't get off. Haley, do not beat Martin up. I hope y'all have a great night. Martin, if you're hitting the casino, bro, I hope you're hitting it big. I know you said you told Haley you were going to gamble on the honeymoon, but you haven't told me anything about the casino, so I don't know if you've hit the casino. But again, it's all about what you want to spend, what type of experience you want to have, things like that. It's just like flying, right? If you want to fly to Europe, you can fly to Europe for $300-400. If you want to fly in business class, it's $3,000-4,000. So it's really depending on what you want to spend for that experience. Me personally, I think getting on Disney would be a good experience, but there's 5 of us here. 5 people on Disney is going to be really expensive. And my kids are still at that age where they would remember it, but I don't think they would remember it fully. So once my kids get a little bit older, it'll definitely be different. I'm definitely considerate. I'm a big Disney dude. Like, y'all already know, I'm Disney tatted from the wrist all the way up to the shoulder and down the back. But it just makes you put things in a little bit of a perspective. We jumped ship from Disney to Royal because of the cost. Disney did not offer a 2-time as Royal to justify the price. And that may be the case, right? Like, there's a brand for everybody, and there's multiple brands for me. I'm not going to lie. Multiple brands fit my belt line, and I'm good with it. So if I don't get on it, I'm not going to be a Debbie Downer not getting on it. I'm really interested in how they're going to operate that ship out of Asia. The largest ship that's being built. That's the one that really interests me the most, right? Because here's the thing. if that ship is only going to sail in Asia, Asia is a very big market when it comes to gambling. Are they going to keep the casinos on board? I know there's some articles out there that said they're not. I know there's some articles that said there's a possibility. But you're not going to know, right, until the final renderings and all of that are done. So I personally would think me being able to get over there and get on that ship and be hitting multiple birds with a stone, like doing Disney and doing Asia, I think it will be worth it then, as long as they make a few changes. Uber Cruisers in the house. Good day, everyone. Sorry to be late to the party visiting my new granddaughter. Ian, don't ever be sorry. Cherish those moments, man. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Congrats again on the new grandbaby. Hope everyone is doing well. And don't ever be sorry, man. It's a sign of weakness. We don't want people seeing signs of weakness. Even though I'm drinking Flash IV because I'm dehydrated. Standing out in that Florida sun, I'm not drinking enough fluids throughout the day. And when I get home, I sit here and just type away on the keyboard and pick up the tumbler when it's empty. I don't refill it. So I'm drinking some IV to help me feel a little bit better. I'm not feeling too bad. I'm groggy and I'm tired. So I know I'm definitely wearing myself thin with the dehydration here. She's asleep at the moment. Never wake a sleeping baby. I think Rachel from Friends learned that the hard way. You never wake a sleeping baby. But it's definitely crazy. It's definitely crazy. There's a lot of things that have been happening. A lot of things over the last couple weeks. Let's see. I'm still not back to work, so that's one thing. That didn't happen. Came down to the negotiation table. They're still trying to figure out a few things and get that all figured out to get us back to work. Kids are last 2 weeks of school. As of tomorrow, the kids only got 2 more weeks. It's just been crazy. It's been a little hectic. But definitely looking forward to the Jubilee at the end of the month. I know my mom's excited. She's definitely excited. So we were able to check in today. And Scott, you'll be proud of me. I went with an early check-in time. I get on board 10 to 10:30. Now, the only reason we did that is because we're using Galveston Saltwater Moms, and their pickup times are relatively early because they want to try and pick you up and drop you off at the same time as they're picking people up from the port. So 10 to 10:30 is my check-in time. That means I'm going to end up sitting at the terminal for a little bit of time. That means I'm not going to be able to get in my room for a little bit of time. But I do have a great cabin on board this ship. A great location to go live for the Sal away party. And we know I don't go up on the Lido anymore for that. But we have an aft-facing balcony. So definitely a great little spot to pop up and go live. Hopefully the internet is better than it was when we went on board in December a few years ago. But I think they got all those kinks worked out. Have a good night, everyone. Time for bed. Cameron's going to bed because Cameron decided to wait up till past midnight last night to be able to check in. When I got up for work this morning, I just checked in and it was so much easier. So much easier. Travel cake tips. Travel cake trips in the house. What's going on? Hope you're having a fantastic night. Man, I'm getting to that point in the night where it's just like blah, 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 blah. Feels like you're talking underwater sometimes. What's your status with Carnival? So I'm platinum still with Carnival. I'm relatively, I'm not super far away from Diamond, but I think I still need like 40 some days. Let's see. Now, for being where I'm at, though, I can't really complain, right? Because I didn't start sailing Carnival until 2021. So right now I have 19 completed cruises with Carnival and 142 days. So with this one coming up, you know, we're at 149. And then I have the transatlantic, which is 14. So by the time I get back, I'll be less than 50 days ending the year. I'll be less than 50 days away from Diamond, which I'm hoping I can get a few more filler cruises in throughout the year. with Carnival, so that way I can manage to hit that diamond a little bit quicker. Yeah, I know I can drop the bags. Typically, depending on what time you get on board, so like, don't tell them I told you this. Usually the rooms are done around 1 o'clock. So if I do my late check-in like I usually do, I do a 1 to 1:30. And then by the time I get on board and all of that, my room is already done. So I can just sit and relax through all the embarkation stress. I can unpack the camera bag, get the camera set up for when I go live, things like that. So it makes it a little bit better when I have that later check-in time. Not only does it make that better, but it makes getting through the whole embarkation day a lot easier because you don't have to stand in lines and wait and do all this other stuff. It's just a lot quicker. And Chuck Spencer turned me on to that because I used to be with Scott. I used to like going first thing in the morning, and Chuck was like, bro, you have to try and go after 12:30. It is such a breeze. You're on the ship within 5 minutes. It's so easy. And he was not lying. Every time I've done it, it has been a cakewalk, and it has reduced that embarkation day stress significantly. Getting breakfast from Buc-ee's, getting breakfast from Buc-ee's. Does Carnival Casino points earn anything for status? So no, it doesn't help your loyalty status, but it does help your offers, right? So, and your offers help your loyalty status, because the great thing with Carnival is most of the cruises that I go on with Carnival are, I'm not going to say they're dirt cheap because you're still putting out some money, right? But they're practically free. All I'm paying is a deposit, port fees, and taxes. The deposit usually comes back in onboard credit. I usually get drinks on board the ship for me and a companion, and I also usually get free play. So when I get the free play, depending on the voyage, it really depends on the amount of free play. Depending on the cabin category, it depends on the amount of the free play, and depending on the offer, right? So I have some that give you $1,000 in free play, but you're in an inside cabin. I have some that give you $500, but you're only in an ocean view, $500 in a balcony. And I have some that are, to me, that I consider to be complete hot trash. They only offer me $200 in the casino with no drinks. But the big perk to it is, the cheaper I get the cruise, the more I get to cruise, right? So with the cost of the cruise for 7 days for 2 people being less than $1,000, most of the time it's less than $500, depending on the itinerary and all of that, right? So if I'm on a cruise for less than, let's say, $700 for a 7-day cruise for 2 people, that means I can cruise more often than the average person who only cruises maybe once a year or twice a year that doesn't gamble in the casino. So with me getting those offers, it helps me increase my status quicker, because Carnival doesn't punish you for booking a casino offer. You still get those days counted towards your sailing. And Royal Caribbean, they do things a little different. MSC does things a little different. So if you're booking solo and you're booking suites, you get double points, things like that. So certain times of the year, it's better to book certain cruises too. Steaming Bean, what's going on, Scotty Mac? I agree. I prefer a later embarkation time. Yeah, it's super nice. It's super easy. It's a quick process. It's like right on board the ship. I get the muster drill done and then call it a day. The more you cruise, do you book interiors to cut costs? It depends. It depends, right? So with Carnival, 9 times out of 10, I'm in a balcony or above because that's the offer I have. Now, the Star Princess cruise, that is an inside, and that's an 11-day voyage, I believe. Let's see. Shipmate. So I have the Star Princess this October. It's the inaugural sailing out of Barcelona. It's 11 nights, and I'm in an inside cabin for that. Now, the good thing is the cost was relatively expensive. I think it was less than $500 for 2 people for the whole cruise. Now, that doesn't come with any extra added perks, right? It does come with onboard credit. It does come with a little bit of casino cash, but it doesn't come with the drinks throughout the whole ship or anything like that with Carnival. So if I wanted to, I can upgrade to the Princess Plus or Premier and pay that out-of-pocket cost, whatever that expense would be. But Princess does this awesome program. It's kind of like the Royal Luck program, where you submit your offer to upgrade. Now, the Sun Princess, when we did that, we booked that as an inside as well, but we put in a bid to upgrade to a balcony cabin. The bid was accepted, and we were upgraded to a balcony cabin. So as it gets closer to that voyage, we'll probably do the same process, put in a bid to see if we can't get upgraded into a balcony or higher, and then go from there. I wholeheartedly have no problem cruising an interior cabin. I have no issue with an inside cabin. It doesn't really matter to me. I don't spend that much time in the room. So an inside cabin is a great option to go to if you're trying to cut cost, especially if you're cruising solo. Don't forget, most cruise lines charge that double occupancy rate, right? Regardless if you have two people or not, you're going to pay the two people fare. The only thing you don't pay are the port fees and the taxes, unless you're cruising a certain cruise line that has those solo style cabins like Norwegian or Princess, because they have those now on board the newer ships. You're going to pay that double occupancy rate. So at that point, is it worth saving a little bit of coin, or is it worth getting the better room and treating yourself? It really depends on if you have an offer. If you're booking it at a standard rate, I highly suggest booking an inside because you'll save money. Flat out, you'll save money. It's the cheapest way to get on board the ship. Now, if you have an offer, and it's going to be the same price for an inside versus a balcony or even an ocean view, why not take the upgraded room at the same cost you would be getting it for an inside? If all the perks are the same, I have no problem with that. If it changes my perks, depending on what perk it is, I might sacrifice a little bit of the perk. I can tell you now, when I did the booze cruise a couple years ago, I sacrificed $500 in free play for the ocean suite, but that's because we were doing a cabin crawl and the only cabin we were missing was the ocean suite. So I changed the offer. I got the ocean suite. I got $500 less in free play, but everything else remained the same. The onboard credit remained the same. The cost of the cabin remained the same. Port fees, taxes all remained the same. The gratuities went up a little bit, but everything else was the same. The cheaper you go, the more money you save, the better off you are, the more you can cruise. That's the whole moral of the concept of the story, right? Is to get on the ship for the least amount of money as possible, so that way you can cruise as much as possible. And that's the big goal, is to be able to spend less money on board a ship than I would on land, right? So if I can get on board a ship and it's less than $50 a day per person, I think that's a win, because there's nowhere on land that you can go to dinner, to the casino. Well, let's not say the casino because that costs extra money, right? There's nowhere on land you can go to dinner and a show, Broadway show, comedy show, live concert venue, or anything like that, where it's going to cost you less than $50 per day. There's nowhere. Not unless you're going to some free community event where they're giving you a hot meal and a show. There's absolutely nowhere that you can go and spend less than $50 a person for a good, what I would call more elegant dinner or meal and a show. It's just not possible. Princess Plus feels like the new minimum now. So Princess Plus is great. I enjoy it. I like the program that Princess has because it gives you that all-inclusive feel, right? So if you do Plus or Premier, once you step on board that ship, you have no other expenses. There's no other cost unless you charge something to your room or you want to go to the casino or buy something from a shop. Either way, that still revolves around charging to your folio. So as long as you get on board that ship and you don't charge anything to your folio, you don't have no extra expenses after you done paid your cruise off, because Plus and Premier have to be paid off with the cruise, right? It's tied into your cruise fare. There's no added expense. Everything's there. It's all one number. If it's 10 grand, you know it's 10 grand. You know it's paid off when you pay off the 10 grand. And then you don't have to pay another dime once you get on board that ship. Not saying it's $10,000. It can be $10,000 if you're going to Alaska in a suite and you got all that. But it's just the moral of the story. It's that all-in-one, all-inclusive price. If you go with Premier, your drinks are unlimited. You're getting top shelf, alcoholic beverages. So it's just that extra added perk that makes it feel more all-inclusive and less headache because you don't have to worry about anything. I'm claustrophobic, so an inside cabin really isn't worth the money saving for me. Did it once with 2 kids, never again. Now, see, that's a whole nother thing, right? If you have claustrophobia, I wouldn't suggest it. If you have more than 2 people, I wouldn't suggest it. I struggle with sharing a room with 3-4 people in a balcony. That's just the way it is, right? The cruise cabins are built to a certain diameter and a certain length and width to get as many on board the ship as possible. That's the whole goal with cruise lines, right? Is how many people can we get on board the ship? Depends on how many rooms we can get put onto the ship. So the more rooms we have, the more people we have, the more revenue we have. So cruise ship cabins, we all know, are not big. They're not that big at all. Even some of your suites that you get on board these newer ships are not big at all. So I have an issue when it comes to having more than 2 people in the room. I'm like, all right, this is too much. Y'all need to go somewhere, get your own cabin, sleep in the hallway, go up on the Lido, get a lounge chair, get a towel animal, use it as a pillow, do what you got to do. But yeah, if it's more than 2 people, I definitely suggest going balcony or up because it's a struggle, especially when you're talking full-grown adults, right? Like if you're talking full-size humans and not just kids. Full-size humans take up a lot more space. They take a lot more time in the bathroom. They stink up the bathroom a lot more. Yes, I don't want to have to share the cabin with 3 or 4 full-size humans. Do you think last-minute deals will return? It's hard to say. So last-minute deals are a good thing with certain cruise lines, but I find it very, very far and few in between because a lot of cruise lines, their bookings are through the roof. Right, so even though inflation's a thing and the cost of living's gone up and all of that, cruise lines are still showing bookings at a higher rate than they have pre-pandemic or just right out of the pandemic. So it's kind of hard to get those last-minute deals, especially when bookings are so high. Now, the one thing that I do see a lot more is a lot more people talking about casino offers. So I think cruise lines now are getting more people to play in the casinos than they used to. So there's a lot more people in the casinos. Carnival has started doing this new thing now where they're called limited offers. So for certain ships, certain times of the year, they have a few itineraries that they offer. So let's see if this one's still on here. Limited edition, free balcony room, drinks on us included everywhere on board the ship for you and a companion. Free balcony room, no onboard credit, none of that. But when you go to view offer details, it only gives you a select number of sailings. So I can only sail to the Bahamas, the Caribbean, or Mexico. I can only sail from Baltimore, Miami, California, Louisiana, Norfolk, Galveston, or Port Canaveral, which is relatively great. But there's only 5 months that I can sail, and those months are February, March, August, September, and October of 2026. The longest duration is 8 days. So they have limited options for you to be able to book. Now, they had another one on here, which I don't see anymore. So that means that probably is over, that offer no longer exists. But it was 2 cruises on board the Carnival Magic for this October. It was 2 sailings, and they were only offered to casino hosts or casino guests. The average person couldn't book these cruises. They were literally just for casino players. So it's literally a gambling cruise. That's what it is. Now, in all reality, to me, that's a cruise I don't want to go on because as a person who likes to gamble, I'm not going to get no time in the casino. That's what that's telling me. Now, this last cruise that we were on, it was an elite cruise, and it had Echo guests on board. So you had people like me that were just on a regular basic bounce back type casino offer, and you had people that were on there for an elite cruise with some people that were Echoes on there. I can't go and spend time in the casino because there's so many people in the casino. And that's not enjoyable to me. No port fees in Vegas. My only expense would be my custom medallion. Yeah, and that's a good thing. I like that they do that. They were 9 and 14. It was for 11 days. It was not fun. That's a long time. But I think I could probably deal with 9 and 14. Our travel part equals 2 adults. A 10-year-old and 5-year-old getting tight. Even the balcony cabin now. Yeah, it's hard. It's definitely tough. Dan got a tad grumpy. On the cruise, he got grumpy? I don't see Dan getting grumpy. Dan seems like a pretty laid back fella. Travel Cake Tips asked, is gambling at the casino the only way that cruise lines measure who gets offers? Meaning, if you want an offer, do you have to gamble, or does loyalty to the cruise line get you free or cheap cruise offers? Now, I will tell you this. The best way to get offers is to gamble. That's the best way to get the best offers possible. Cruise lines do offer cheaper rates to their guests who do not gamble based upon loyalty status. I know Cameron has gotten like $100 off of the rate, or $25 cabins every now and then. So it really depends, right? I don't think they're doing it as much now because, again, bookings are through the roof. And that's why I believe a lot of the casino offers from cruise lines are getting to be a lot less enticing than what they used to be, right? So like fresh out the pandemic, I would get offers with $1,000, $2,500 in free play. I haven't seen that in at least a year, over a year, maybe 2 years. So it really depends. But depending on the cruise line, there are cruise lines out there that are still doing those loyalty status. You get rewards, you get, certain percentage off, 25% off, or whatever it may be. But the greatest way to do it, man, is to set it up, right? To always give the cruise lines your email information. If you have a travel agent, stay in contact with your travel agent. If you don't have a travel agent, my email's in the description. I'd love to help you out. But it's one of those things, right? So you can always go and talk to like the casino host or all of that, and talk to the people that work on board the ship. The Future Cruise Desk is another great way to get discounted rates. Every cruise ship has them. If they don't, they lie to you, but every cruise ship has a Future Cruise Desk where you can actually put down a deposit. It's good for 2 years. And it's like $100, but you get like added perks to it. So it's definitely worth it. But speaking of being a travel agent and all of that stuff, do you guys know that I have this group cruise to Alaska that's coming up in 2026? It's one of the coolest cruises available. It's July 12th of 2026 on board the brand new Star Princess, mind you, which you will see come this October from Europe and Barcelona, Spain, since I'm on the inaugural sailing. But here's the details, because Scott asked for it. Listen, it's a catchy song. It's definitely a catchy song. I got to come up with a new video now because there's so much stuff that's getting added to it. The sticker has came out. It has not officially been released to the public. The people in the group have saw it, but I have pre-ordered the sticker. I've ordered a small quantity of that sticker to see what they look like when they come in, and if that's the final product on what I want to use in 423 days. 423 days. I still have cabins available. If you want to go, y'all know how to reach me. The email is in the description. But that's it for this week, y'all. I appreciate each and every one of you for hanging out with me for another Thursday. I don't know why y'all come here. I'm sick of me. I know you're sick of me. I'm just kidding. And I will see y'all next week. I'll keep you posted if we're going to go live next week. I might tweak the schedule a little bit. My son graduates and all that stuff, so I'm not 100% sure if we're gonna do it next week or not. But if not, there'll definitely be a video premiere for y'all to check out with the live chat and all of that fun stuff. So if I don't see you next week, you'll know in the Facebook group, which again is in the description if you're not there yet. But I appreciate each and every one of you. If you haven't done so, please consider hitting that like button on your way out. And until next time, y'all know what to do. Y'all stay naughty. Peace.